In today's video, we're going to talk about becoming love. The goal of being a disciple of Jesus, it's not about changing how we act. The problem with us as humans isn't what we do, but it's the heart that which those things come from. Just changing outward behavior, it doesn't change our inner being. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't learn to act differently. We always want to be doing that. But that learning to act differently and trying to act differently has got to come from a place of inner transformation. Whenever we find ourselves in a place that we are not acting in accordance of what we know we should be doing, it simply indicates an area of our heart that needs God to be invited into. So for example, trying to be loving, it's going to lead to hopelessness, it's going to lead to despair, because you can't just try to be loving. If you try to be loving but don't actually have real love, then it's just an exhausting process. Jesus said that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And this outward, trying to behave outwardly in a way that we haven't been transformed inwardly, is a heavy burden. And a really, it's not an easy yoke at all. It's actually something really heavy for us to carry. So what do we do? Well, this is where we actually recognize that Christ rules over everything. And as disciples of Jesus, we really are inviting his rulership over every area of our life, every area of our internal being. We are wanting him to come in and change our emotions, our dispositions, our choices, our character, the very heart that those things flow out of. It talks about, in Jesus talking about the greatest command is to love God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then to love our neighbor as ourselves. We can't love God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength without actually the gift of his grace coming into our life, us inviting that in, us partnering with that, and inviting his love to transform us. And so understanding the love of God, his love for you, that you are a son or daughter in the kingdom, that he loves you and is committed to your growth and transformation is the place we've got to start from. Because then we aren't beating ourselves up going, I'm such a failure, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no, we start from a position of understanding we're adopted sons and daughters of God. And from that place we go, man, sometimes I'm not acting like an adopted son or daughter of God. So God, I need my heart to change so that I will accept how you love me and learn to live from that place of love and security. So here's the exercise for today. You can go through the Gospels and look at every loving thing that Jesus did. This is us studying. It's the spiritual discipline of studying. Or, the spiritual discipline of being in community. You could, unfortunately in COVID-19, you can't do it in person, but you could do it over Zoom, or maybe you can in person because it's a family member. Spend time with one of the people in your life you consider to be the most loving people that you've ever known. And just thank God for just how loving those people are. Now, these are just a couple of things in terms of spiritual formation that we can be doing to appropriate God's love into our lives, to learn to live from that place, to learn to understand God's love for us. You can meditate on God's love. Just sit and meditate on how God loves you. Meditate on his acceptance of you. These are great things to put into practice, and we'll keep going with this tomorrow.